Welcome back to Bonnie's Basketball Now. I'm Anthony Goss, joined by Louis Genovese and Jaylene Valdez. St. Bonaventure University announced the hiring of women's basketball coach Jim Crowley on Friday. Crowley previously coached at St. Bonaventure from 2000 to 2016. Spending 7 seasons at Providence College in the Big East, the university will live stream his introductory press conference on Monday afternoon. Now, for any of the new fans out there, who is Jim Crowley? Who is this legendary figure? Crowley built the Bonaventure program into an A-10 powerhouse through his first stint with the Bonnies, winning 258 games and earning 6 national postseason appearances. Crowley's 258 wins remain the most of any women's coach at Bonaventure, and his 108 wins in the Atlantic 10 stands 6th most in the conference's history. And as I said before, Crowley, he led the Bonnies to 6 postseason tournament appearances, and most notably of those, a Sweet 16 appearance in 2012, and that was the same year the Bonnies went 14-0 in conference play. Now, moving on from Crowley, let's get to the words of a former player, Courtney Mattingly. She spoke very glowingly of her former coach.
First thing that comes to mind is loyal. He truly cares about them as people, and he has their back no matter what. He knew, and he trusted that we knew the type of student athletes and young women that would fit into the Bonaventure vision and atmosphere and what we wanted to create.
Now, Crowley, a really big hire for the Bonaventure program, a re-energizing hire really after the last couple of years. Louis, what is the importance of Jim Crowley returning to Bonaventure for a second stint?
Well, Anthony, I think this is definitely a very big important thing. This season was all about change for the women's team after the firing of Justine Fleming. They seemed to play with a new whole sense of energy, a new sort of chemistry, and now that they're bringing in a guy that brought this team to multiple wins, including an appearance in the NCAA Sweet 16. It will be definitely interesting to see how he takes their development from this season, the ones that are still sticking to the team, along with new additions, to see if he can bring the same sense he brought from 2000 to 2016 and bring them here for this new generation of female Bonnies.
Like you're kind of saying, Louis, I think him coming back kind of has a sense of hope for this Bonaventure women's basketball program. Given the fact that our men's basketball team is a whole new face, it's good to have a whole new look for it too with the women's thing. I think that him coming back kind of is a good sense. They haven't had a winning season since he left, so I think him coming back is is going to show how he is as a coach, and he has something to prove.
Yeah, it's really important to acknowledge the men's basketball team. They've done a lot, they've had a lot of success, but the women's program has just been starving for anything to root for, anything to cheer about. Not to say that the girls haven't competed to their best ability, which they have. The coaches have been trying their best, but whatever's been going on, it just hasn't been working out. And around the athletics program, there's been a lot of new hires, a lot of turnover at St. Bonaventure University, and now we see with the women's program, Erica Morrow was the first turnover, and now we get that permanent hire with Jim Crowley, and given his past success and the 258 wins and the Sweet 16 appearance, that success won't be duplicated overnight. It might take 2 or 3 years to really get this team to the top of the conference. But the fact that they were able to move on, make this hire, and kind of re-energize the program with just one move, I think it speaks a lot to how the community feels about the program and where they want the program to be, and how the program could evolve in the next couple of years as Crowley gets his feet wet, gets to get involved and recruit and do all those things.
And like Joe Manhurst said himself, it was just too good of an opportunity to pass on. He was here, he's coming back home. It's just like we've seen such great teams, but just couldn't execute well enough to have a winning season or make it past the first round. And just we know with the sense of Crowley, since we've seen him from the past, it'll just come back naturally. Hopefully.
Yeah, a really re-energizing hire and a great hire. I think we all agree on that for the Bonaventure women's program. Now moving on to the men's team. They were in the second round of the A-10 tournament on Wednesday. They faced the Davidson Wildcats. Unfortunately, though, the Bonnies, they lost to Davidson in the second round on Wednesday. They fell 65-54, Chad Benning led Bonaventure with 16 points, but the team struggled to overcome an early deficit. Bonnies will finish the season 14-18 with a conference record of 8-10. Bonnies have not had a record under 500 since the 2012-2013 season. Taking a look at some of the stats from that game, Bonaventure loses the game by 11, Davidson 65-54. Rebounds, Davidson out-rebounds the Bonnies by 3. Assists, Bonaventure had 11 to Davidson's 16. Steals, Davidson 3 to Bona's 3. Blocks, Bonaventure did lead in that category with 4-2. But Bonaventure didn't take care of the ball. 12 turnovers to Davidson 5. Davidson, a really smart team, able to take care of the ball in this one. It really showed with a combined effort. Bonnie's just not able to get it done. Louis, tell me one player that stood out to you throughout the season and through the game.
Well, Anthony, the guy that obviously we were paying attention to most is Daryl Banks III, the hot transfer from St. Peter's. All eyes were on him, especially after he was named captain. From the very first moment this season, he has been electrifying when it came to playing at the Riley Center. However, on the road, we've seen him being if, especially in this game against Davidson. He only had 9 points and didn't make a single three-point shot. This definitely shows that he still needs to adjust to playing in Mark Schmidt's system in order for the team to accomplish any success in the future.
Well, I think another player that also stood out during that game and throughout the season was Moses Flowers. We saw in the beginning of the season, it was kind of are we going to have that old Moses Flowers back that he came from his old school? He started with a couple injuries. He didn't play for like the first 2 games and stuff like that. And then he was coming off the bench for Barry Evans, and then eventually towards the end of the conference, we eventually saw him starting, putting up a significant amount of points, and even off the bench when he was there. And on his game for Davidson, he had 10 points and 2 for 6 from 3-point. And I think something that, like you said, Louis, DB was kind of like a bit chill for that game, and Moses Flowers really stepped us. He put his heart all in it, and I think that's what we saw, and that's just something that they needed throughout that game, and he provided.
Yeah, the 2 captains of the Bonnies, no surprise there, Daryl Banks and Moses Flowers, also the 2 most experienced players in the program. Switching gears a little bit, let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into this game. Let's give one word to describe what we saw on Wednesday.
My obviously one word, Anthony, is learning. Mark Schmidt had to take a whole new challenge. He had to experience how to rebuild this program after the Ironman 5 2.0 left from their NIT trip to Madison Square Garden last year. Obviously, when this team came in, they had some highs, having a good win at the start of the season, beating Notre Dame in November, but they had some lows, losing to LaSalle, Fordham, with George Washington. They obviously are an inexperienced team that's still figuring out how to have that exact moment of chemistry, how to exactly get the momentum in and out of the paint, and also on defense. It is going to be a learning experience about how they're going to need to, Mark Schmidt's going to bring guys in from in the off season and help them be able to adjust to his system the same way these guys are still trying to learn to play with each other.
I think, my word is unfortunate. I just think that Davidson game, it was just they played them towards the end of the season, and you just knew with that loss what they had to do coming into this round, and it just seemed like it wasn't executed well. And given the fact, like Louis was saying, like it's just a learning experience, with the VCU win and the Richmond win, you would have thought like coming in, 8-10 fresh new start with the tournament, it's slate 0-0, you could do anything, but I just thought it was unfortunate given the fact that they played them towards their end of the season, and they just couldn't learn from that game.
Yeah, my word ties into what both of you said. My word's inexperience. I think seeing this Bonaventure team closing down the stretch, just weren't able to quite close it out right. They were 3rd in the conference at one point and lost a couple questionable games down the road. A-10 certainly very good conference, a test for any team on any given night, but inexperience for this Bonnies group. You look at the teams that are left, a lot of experience, a lot of veteran players on those teams. The Bonnies were able to hang with them for a little bit, but over the course of the season, the inexperience kind of took a toll on them. And when it comes to March, it comes to the end of February, it's time to win your conference, time to secure a top seed in a conference tournament and really, wind down the season. Bonaventure just didn't have the experience to kind of know how to get through those things. They have a couple of captains, juniors in Moses Flowers, Daryl Banks, but the other guys, just only 1 year under their belt, really not that much experience, but given an off season, given another chance to, take a break and reassess things and come back next year, I think that problem could be fixed. But yeah, my word, inexperience for the Bonnies. So, Coming up, the Bonnies on Bonnies Basketball Now, we take a look at the Atlantic 10 individual awards, a couple Bonnies on those lists, and we'll give our final predictions for the rest of the A10 tournament. Stick with us.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When I got the opportunity to get her, there wasn't no choice. I told myself, I'm gonna take custody of my daughter. It's my baby. That's what we're supposed to do as men. Take care of our home, build a foundation, you know what I'm saying? Love, our money, she's my purpose. I'm here to walk with her, hold her hand until she can walk alone. Ain't nothing like being a father in this world.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
The whole staff was recruiting me at a tournament in Philly. And there was this great restaurant that my father and I always like to go to. And we're there waiting in line, and a minute later, in walks the entire Bonaventure staff. Come to find out, I think they had seen me go there, or I talked to them on the phone one time, or it's something. They knew that that's where we went, and they planned the whole thing. And it was Jim, and he planned it, and the rest is history, as they say.
Thanks for sticking with us on Bonnies Basketball Now. Let's take a look at the Atlantic 10 as they announced their end of season awards this week. Let's take a look at the winners. Starting with St. Bonaventure's winners, 2 of the Bonnies earned recognition in these awards. The conference named Daryl Banks III to the All-Conference Third Team. The junior guard averaged 15.4 points per game and started every game for the Bonnies this season. Freshman forward Jan Farrell also earning recognition, the A10 naming him to the All-Conference Rookie Team. Farrell averaged 9 points and 6 rebounds for the Bonnies this year, and multi-A10 Rookie of the Week winner too. So congratulations to them. Now looking at the All-Atlantic 10 first team, a lot of talent here. The A10 Player of the Year, Ace Baldwin Jr., no surprise there, he begins the team. Tumani Kamara and Deron Holmes, the second representing Dayton on this team. St. Louis point guard Yuri Collins, George Washington guard James Bishop IV, and George Mason's big man Josh Oduro round out that team. So the Bonnies showing some representation on these end of season awards. Louis, I'll start with you. Jan Farrell on the all-rookie team. What about him? What did he do this year that really earned him that award?
One of the things that obviously earned him that honor, Anthony, was how effective he was in the three-point. He made more three-pointers than any other rookie, 62, which was also, and he also had the highest three-point percentage out of anyone on this team with .413. He was able to show how effective he was outside of the rim whenever he gets space to himself, is able to make those shots. He's able to step up and be the team's effective three-shooter when Daryl Banks is having a down day. And this can only go up from here as he goes forward in this Bonnie's career.
And as Daryl Banks is also unmentioned, like you said, he's scored 15.4 points per game. He started every single game. He's had 3 30-point games and 7 20-point games. He was just a key significant pickup for Mark Schmidt, and it showed how significant he was when he wasn't touching the ball and when he was touching the ball. He was just all around necessary. He's also like first in minutes with 38.3, which is like just significant. He never sat down, and that was just like something to honor.
Yeah, 2 Bonnies earning awards, but others definitely deserving. I believe it was Matt McKillop after the game Wednesday said that Chad Venning deserved to be on one of the all-conference teams. But as we talk about this, let's not forget about the other awards won by members of the Atlantic 10. Keith Ergo, the coach at Fordham, winning A10 Coach of the Year. George Washington's Brendan Adams, cousin of former Bonnie Jalen Adams, earns Most Improved Player. And Maximus Edwards, same team, George Washington, he wins Rookie of the Year. And finally, LaSalle's Josh Nickelberry, he won Sixth Man of the Year. Now let's take a look at the A10 tournament bracket with just 2 games on the slate coming up Saturday. We only have 4 teams left. VCU and St. Louis, they will meet in semifinal number 1, and Fordham and Dayton, a really interesting matchup. They'll meet in the second semifinal, which leads us into our final predictions. Now, usually our final predictions, we're here talking about a Bonnie's game, talking about maybe both teams in action. Unfortunately, that's not the case, but the show must go on and our final predictions must go on. So let's predict the end of the A10. Louis, who is going to be going to the big dance and representing the Atlantic 10?
I'd say the underdog here is the Fordham Rams, Anthony. They got so many young guys such as Darius Questenberry, Khalid Moore, and Antel Charlton averaging at least 30 points a game. Their 3-point average has been pretty good. Even though they've beat VCU once and resulted in a loss, I think that they can do what it takes to pull off the upset win against Dayton and be ready for whoever wins the St. Louis and VCU game to really be the team to be the underdog of this Final Four and go to the dance.
Well, my team to take it all is VCU. I think this game against St. Louis will be an exciting game, but I think that VCU will take it all because, like you were saying in the beginning of the show, experience really does win when it comes to A10. Many of these teams that have made it so far has such high experience. Coming into this show a while back, I named Dayton as my dark horse because they had so much experience, but I'm starting to change it. I think VCU will take it against St. Louis because they just have so many players that could score so significantly. I think St. Louis just kind of relies on one, and VCU has so many players coming off the bench that could also score significantly. So it's just, you're not just looking at your Ace Baldwins, but you're starting to look at your bench players as well. So I think that's why VCU will take it all. They have key players to dominate in every aspect.
Good answers by both of you, Louis, going with the underdog in Fordham. Jaylene jumping ship, as we all see here, going from Dayton to VCU. I'm going to go somewhere in the middle. I'm going to go with a team that we haven't mentioned yet. I really like this St. Louis club. I think they have not been up to their expectations this year. I will give you that. They definitely disappointed in the regular season, but there's just so much talent on this team not to like. You start with Yuri Collins, fantastic point guard, one of the best in the country. Gibson Jimerson, fantastic shooter. He can really shoot the ball. Francis Okoro is a big man inside. Don't go in there. He's going to protect the paint. And they have such good role players all around those 3 that have been around the program. Travis Ford has been in this position before, being an underdog and being able to win the A10 and steal a bid. And VCU, very good team. Fordham's got a little bit of a home court advantage in Dayton. We all know what Dayton's done in March. But I really like this Billikens team, and this is my last-ditch effort. I picked them before the season to win the A10. It's their last chance now, so I'm going to stick with them. Unlike Jaylene, I'm going to go die on the ship with my predictions and not jump ship. Just kidding there. But but that's all we have. We gave our final predictions. We'll see who wins the A10, but that's all we have for Bonnie's basketball now. Thanks for sticking with us. Happy March, happy basketball watching, and we'll see you next week.